You see it all the time, right? These lists that are constantly telling us which country has the best schools. But what if those simple rankings are actually hiding the real story? Well, today, we're going to unpack a much smarter way to understand education around the world, and it means moving way beyond that simple horse race. Yeah, this is the big one, isn't it? It's the question everybody wants an answer to. Is it Finland? Is it Singapore? Some other contender we haven't even heard of? It feels like it should be a simple question, and man, are we hungry for a simple answer. And let's be honest, that's because we absolutely love a good competition. We are just wired to want to know who's number one, who's falling behind, and who the surprise winner is. It's just exciting. But here's the thing, and it's a big thing. When we treat education like it's just a horse race, we miss the entire landscape. A single number on a chart just can't possibly capture the culture, the history, and the very human drama that actually shapes a country's school system.
So, to get past the headlines, to really get what's going on, we need to ditch the racetrack binoculars and pick up a proper analytical toolkit. We need a method that lets us see the deeper truths hiding in plain sight.
Okay, so where do we even start? Well, the foundation of any good comparison is a solid blueprint. And we can actually borrow one from George Bereday, who is a real pioneer in this field. He laid out a super clear 4-step method for getting beyond the surface. Let's break it down. It all starts with step 1, description. This is just gathering the raw facts, no judgment, no opinions. From there you move to step 2, interpretation. This is where you figure out what those facts actually mean, inside that country's own unique culture. Then comes the really cool part, step 3, juxtaposition. You place those different realities side by side to see what kind of patterns pop out. And only then, only after all that, do you get to the final stage, comparison, where you can draw a conclusion that's actually sophisticated and meaningful. So let's see how this actually works. Start with a fact. The description: China has a massive, high-stakes national exam called the Gaokao. Okay. Now, the interpretation: a father in Shanghai spends his entire life savings on a tiny apartment just to get his kid into the right school district for that exam. Now, we juxtapose that experience with, say, the daily struggles of a father in rural Ghana trying to get his kids an education. The final comparison isn't about who's better. It's that incredible realization that both fathers are making perfectly rational choices based on the rules of the game they've been forced to play.
Now, that 4-step method is awesome, but trying to compare entire countries, it's still just massive. So a much more powerful technique is to narrow our focus, to zero in on a single, shared problem. And this is what we call the thematic approach. Instead of trying to compare, everything, you pick one critical issue, let's say social mobility, and you trace how different systems handle it. This gives your analysis an incredible focus, and it reveals truths you would have totally missed otherwise.
I mean, think about it like this. Within the very same country, China, the educational path for the child of an elite family is like a rocket ship, straight to the top. But for the child of a migrant worker, that exact same system is a greased ladder, almost impossible to climb. It's the same country, but focusing on that one theme of opportunity reveals two completely different worlds.
But how do you connect a big, abstract policy to the real people that it affects every day? Well, the key is learning to change your perspective, kind of like using a zoom lens on a camera, moving in and out to see the whole picture.
Let's start zoomed all the way out, at the macro level. This is the big picture, the national policy. So in Chile, for example, the government created a system based on school choice and vouchers. They basically created a whole educational marketplace.
Okay, now let's zoom in a bit to what's called the meso level. This is the school, the institution. So how does that big national policy play out on the ground? Well, it creates schools like St. George's College, this exclusive elite bubble that only exists because of that market system. And here it is, the most powerful zoom level of all, the micro, the individual. That national policy, that elite school, it all funnels down to this: a mother having a literal panic attack trying to navigate this competitive system for her child. Right there, you go from an abstract policy to a profound human cost.
So, after all this, what's the big payoff for using this more sophisticated toolkit? What do we actually see when we finally look beyond those simple rankings?
So there you have it, your new comparative toolkit. You've got Bereday's systematic blueprint, you've got the laser-like precision of a thematic lens, and you've got the empathetic power of zooming from the system all the way down to the soul. Because at the end of the day, the goal of this whole exercise isn't to declare a winner. It's to gain a real, profound understanding of why each system operates the way it does and what that actually feels like for the people living inside of it.
And when you look at it this way, you realize something pretty incredible. Every single ladder of opportunity is built from specific historical timber and nailed together with very particular social values. So instead of just asking who's best, we can finally start asking the much more interesting questions, like what can we learn from each other? And maybe even, when you look at the schools around you, what story do they really tell?